Hello everyone, my name is Monica Formosa and I'm an independent stepping up demonstrator here in the Wide Bay area of Queensland, Australia. I need to record this video. Unfortunately, I'm having a bit of a struggle doing lives on YouTube, so I thought I would come on and record this for you so you can see the process, and then I'll upload it. And hopefully you can all catch me there. Admittedly, it is not as much fun doing it this way. I have to say I love the interaction I get with my lives and having people there with me while I watch. But technology isn't my friend at the moment, and I'm not sure why. It is probably user error, but anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so the card I am recreating for you today is this lovely lovely card that has been created using the Framed Florets bundle. This is the card that I'm casing. It's a card for the Global Design Project Challenge, casing the designer. The lovely Kim Fee put up this card. So that's what we're doing. So for my card, what I decided to do is, rather than a circle frame using the, what are those frames? Those guys. Stylish Shapes. So that frame was created using the Stylish Shapes, and what they've done is what Kim has done is she has, I'm not sure which ones she's used, but she's actually put two together and die cut it out and made a frame for her card. And then she's used this lovely image and colored it, possibly with the blends, I would say. But I'm going to be doing something a little bit different because I felt like coloring with my watercolor pencils. I just felt like doing some coloring, and I love coloring with my watercolor pencils. I love coloring with any pencils, really. Okay, so we'll be using the Framed Florets stamp set and this image here, and I have that already stamped on twice on a piece of shimmery white cardstock, because that's probably the best option for when you're coloring with this technique. You could use the watercolor paper as well. You can use regular cardstock, but you need to be really careful, because as you're using your blender pen, it tends to pill a little bit. So this is a safer option for beginners. All right, so to get my, the card, to get my frame, I decided to go with an oval, and I'm using this lovely oval of hearts die. And what it does is you use a piece of cardstock, and it just, I've done one already just to save a little bit of time. So it cuts out the hearts and leaves everything else there intact, which is a lovely option. Okay, so that's what I've gone and done for my frame, and then I used that image from the Framed Florets stamp set. In my background, I don't know whether you can pick it up on the camera. In the background, I've got these die cuts here, and I've die cut out too. And what I decided to do is because I wanted to work with the curve of those hearts, I'm going to flip one over. So I'm going to flip one over that way, and flip one and just keep that one that way. That's the right side and this is the wrong side, and you can tell that because this has more of a beveled, The right side has a nice beveled finished edge, whereas the wrong side has like a flattish edge. But we can fix that by grabbing a bone folder and very, very gently, because you don't want to rip your die cut. We're going to go over those edges and just flatten them out. And I don't think I used the whole die cut for that one, so I'm just going to just flatten them out really gently. There is still a little bit of a difference, but just not as much. Okay, so we'll add that there and add that there. You'll need a I've used a I don't know where my bits and pieces are, over here. And then for this card, rather than just for you, I thought I would do a thank you and a Melon Mambo card base. All right, so that'll go on here like so. And I've decided to go white rather. This is very vanilla, and I decided to go white this time, just for a little bit of extra pop of color. This is very it's a softer look, very romantic, very vintagey, whereas this is more poppy and modern, and yeah, almost summery, springy. Spring's coming in for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, so, well, in theory. But anyway, okay, let's get coloring. I will put that to the side. All right, so for our coloring, I decided to get my watercolor pencils and also my blender pen. Now this comes in a pack of 3, and it comes with a clear liquid, and mine is used, so my tips are stained, but it still has this clear liquid. It's still quite wet. They do eventually dry out with use, and that's still quite wet. I'm not sure whether that, so there's absolutely, it's stained, but there's no color on the tip. These 4 colors come out of the Assortment 2-pack. And then I've grabbed the basic gray. I've used the basic gray on my original card, but what I'll show you today, rather than, if you've got the first pack, basic gray is included in that. But if you don't have both packs and you only really want to and you've only got the one, you can use your ink pad, and that's what I'll show you for this. Okay, what else do we need? Oh, for a little bit of bling, I've used the 2021-23 in color Opal rounds, and I've grabbed the pink, polished pink out of that. I thought it looked quite nice. Okay, so I have 2 stamped images here, and I always stamp more than what I need, just in case things don't work out. And what I'm going to do to start with, I'm going to grab my Smoky Slate ink pad, and I'll grab a ink block, clear block, stamp block, and add a little bit of color to the corner. I will grab my blender pen. That doesn't fit on the end. Don't lose that. Okay. Now you don't have to do this step. I did because I didn't like all that white or that clear space in behind the flowers, and it also gives just a little bit of depth to the image, makes it look like there's a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to pick up a tiny little bit of ink, and I'm just going to go around the edges, blending that color out. I hope you can see. Try not to go too close to the lines of your image, because that will dilute. Our ink pads are water-based, so any liquid, any water-based liquid that you add near it will actually dilute that color, and that's what this blender pen is. And I'm just dabbing that on very, very gently, just to add a little bit of shadow. And oops, if you think you have too much, just wipe a little bit off. And I'm going to go around these leaves just a little, just to put a bit of shadow in there. And I missed a spot here. All right, so that's what I've done, and I've just done that with my ink pad. You could probably go ahead and color the rest of it with doing the same technique with your ink pads. Now there is gray still left in here, so what I'm going to do is just scribble that on my paper here until it runs clear, and that's done. And you can use it again for the next one. Okay, sorry, 2 greens, garden green and granny apple green. Now the pigment in these pencils are quite soft, so I'm just adding a little bit of color all over, and then highlighting areas going over different areas. Certainly down the center, you want it a little bit darker where the veins are. Okay. And then this leaf here is behind this leaf here, so what I'm going to do is just add a line, a heavy line down that edge, so because there'll be a shadow there. Garden green, I'll add a little bit of garden green just to the base of these longer leaves. And then I'll add some Daffodil Delight to the flowers, to the center of the flowers. And all I'm doing is adding a little bit of color right at the bottom where the center meets that petal. Okay, right, so now we're going to grab our blender pen and we're going to just blend that color very gently. All right, I'm touching really, really lightly, and we're blending that pigment over the image. There's that line where it's, if you wanted to, you could get a darker green and just add that shadow, or even your gray, just to pull a deeper shadow in. Depends how pedantic you are. All right, so I finished my granny apple green, and what I'm going to do is just wipe that off until it runs clear before I go on to my next color, which is the garden green. And I'm going to just apply my pen into that area where all the pigment is, and then just pull it through to the ends. Really, really softly. I'm hardly putting any pressure at all on that. Yeah, I'll leave that. I think that looks all right. And there's no No right or wrong with your colouring. Okay, so that's those leaves done. And again, before I move on to my next colour, I will just scribble until the colour runs clear, and then moving on to the daffodil. Okay, and again, before I move on to my next one, I will just scribble until it runs clear. All right, so there's all my foliage done. I'm not going to do too much with the berries that are there. I think they look fine as they are. And you might even like to just leave it at that. Like, that looks quite classy. Just leaving the flowers white. And there is that little bit of shimmer there from the shimmery white cardstock. But what I will do now is go in and add a little bit of cherry cobbler to my flowers. So all I'm doing is, I don't want a lot of color. This cherry is quite rich. Where I think it would be darker, like under where this petal is underneath here, so I'm adding a little bit of color where that shadow would be. And I've actually put that in the wrong spot. That line there, it should have been, anyway, it's all good. That's there. I'll put a little bit here, a little bit around the center. I'll go down this line here where I think there would be a shadow, and down this line here where I think there would be a shadow, and maybe down on this line here. And you can just pull that color out. Okay, so there's that flower done. This one, it'll be darker at the base where the light can't get to it. There would be a shadow around underneath this one, this petal here, and I will add, there would be, I'm not quite sure, this one here I think. Okay, we'll go here because that's where that one is definitely underneath, and this one here is definitely underneath, and this is where the petal has turned back, so I'll go a little bit of color, add a little bit of color around that turn back, and the same on this one, and then I'll just add, and that would be nice and dark because it's in the shadow in the center there. All right, so that's my pencil. That's how I've applied my pencil, and that was cherry cobbler. All right, so now I'm going to grab my blender pen excuse me, and just pull that color out. I'll start with the small one first. So again, very, very gently, I'm just pulling that color out. So it's darker on the bottom and then lighter where the light would be. And again here, pull that color out. Oh, I didn't need to do that. All right, so I'm going to go around the edges first and then just pull out this color. if you ever feel that you have too much color on the end of your pen, you can just wipe it off, which is what I'm kind of doing here. All right, just pull out. That petal seems to be on the top of the flower. And then this one is underneath, so I'll just pull that darker area out to create a shadow. And then this teeny tiny one here. And then we've got this one underneath. All right, so there's that first little flower going. I love the variation you can get. And you really don't need to use, like, these pencils are really quite pigmented, especially the darker ones. So, all right, so now we've got a petal here. All right, so, oh, that's upside down. I don't have another stamped image. So there's a turn back on, there was a turn back on this petal here, excuse me, that I went around. So the center, I've added a lot of ink, a lot of pencil. So I'm going to go around that, and that petal is actually underneath. So with the color that's kind of left on my pen, I did take most of it off. I'm just going to add just a whisper of color, so it brings it to the top. And again with this one, we'll go around that shadow, pulling that color out, take most of that off, and with the color that's left, we'll just color that turn back. We'll go again in here. This one, this petal is behind all the others. So I might go back and add a little bit more pencil. You can do that. Go this way. Just find it easier. Pull that color out. And that petal is actually on top of the one behind it on the left. So that's worked out well. I will add just a little bit more pencil in the base there and just blend that out. I'll probably ruin it now. All right, there we go. And I'll fix that up once. All right, so there's our flowers. And our leaves with a little bit of grey in the background just to add a little bit of depth to the image. Okay, so I will just, that's all clear, scribble that off. So that's all our colouring done. And then what we will do is, there is a die that we can use, and we'll run that through the machine. I will add a little bit of washi tape just to hold it in place. Now, and I will cut that off. Where are my snips? Oh. Now this die is nice and snug. And there are little holes. These little holes actually line up with the ends of these leaves. But do you think I can do that? No, no, I can't, because I think I need new glasses. So I kind of have better luck just I think that's it. All right, we're committed now. I have my die cut machine over here beside me. I'll just run that through, guys. Well, oh, look at that. Not too bad at all. Okay. So I'm going to add a few dimensionals on the back of this. But I won't take the backs off just yet. And we will organize this. So I am going to trim this back to where it meets there. Okay, so that one will go up like that. The same with this one. Trim it back to here, and we'll put that one down there, and that will follow the lovely curve there of those hearts. If you wanted to, and I might do that, I might just add a little bit of glue. So this is the top one. Where there's a lot of what I would say real estate, like the areas with larger amounts of cardstock. So we'll go, yeah, maybe there like that. And then the same with this, just a I'm really just smearing that on because I don't want it to go everywhere. And we'll add that onto there. Now I will add my, let me see where this is going to go, and I might just trim that off at a bit of a jaunty angle. We can put that in there. No, actually I think I might put that up on dimensionals as well. So I hope I can get this to work now. All right. Kind of figure out, I kind of like it down there so it has, yes, like that. Okay, happy with that. So let's put, That's why you don't take your backs off your dimensionals until you're really, really super ready. All right. So there we go, we've got our sentiment on there, and that was stamped in VersaMark and then heat embossed in the white. And then I'm going to just put this, is that the way I had it? Yes, maybe, just to hide that. Oh, okay, so what I've gone and done, I don't need this dimensional here. So I'm going to try and peel that off really, really gently. And I will add just a little bit of glue. Otherwise it'll be too high on that side. There we go. All right, so there's your card front. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a heap of dimensionals to this. and it really will be quite a lot because I've got that shape, that lovely oval happening there, and I don't want it sagging at all. So okay, and I will add some either side here. And I'm going to add, these side bits are going to be absolutely perfect for this. Does everyone else use their side bits on their sheets of dimensionals? They are very handy for these little spots that you, and they're also handy for your sentiment strips. I love using these bits for sentiments. All right, I'm still worried that, sorry guys, this is a bit of a, if you're going to hand deliver this, you probably wouldn't need as many, but if it was going to be posted, I would definitely. The other thing you could do is use the foam adhesive sheets that we have, that Stampin' Up! Have, that they have full sheets. I'll just remove all the backs. And I do colour mine so that I know what's been taken off and what's still there. And I've just used my my alcohol blender pens, alcohol blends. And I usually use like these ones, and I usually use a bright colour because once again, these old eyes are getting a bit, I think I need new glasses. Okay, so top tip. You know my top tip, adding a little bit of glue which will allow me to get it where I need it to be, because I do have a lot here. All right, is that all of them? I think that's all of them. All right, make sure I've got it the right way, make sure I've got it the right way, and we'll just really I hope that's straight. That looks pretty straight to me. Ooh. There, committed. I'm just going to turn that over and press from the back just for a little bit while that glue dries and sets for me. Okay, I have already pre-done the inside of my card. Okay, so that's the front. Just a gorgeous thank you card. And then that's the inside. And I think I've colored those leaves a little bit differently, but it still works. All right. For the inside, what I've gone and done is I have just die cut another one of those little detailed foliage pieces, and then just glued another colored image into the corner and just trimmed it off, and then just stuck that down with glue. So that's the inside that pulls that design from the outside. Okay, so that's it. All right, lovelies, thank you so much. I have to say a big huge thank you to all those that started with me last night. Thank you for your patience. I'm gonna see if I can get on top of it. I'm not really quite sure what the problem is. Our internet provider actually sold their business to another company, and I was hoping that things would improve a little bit, but like I said, it's probably not it's probably user error on my side. So I'll have a bit of a look and see what I can find out. All right, so there's my card. There's my original card. Tell me which one you prefer. This one has a bit of a larger border around it, which I don't mind. Just pulls that pink in a little bit more. Oh, we didn't put our gems on. Very vanilla, basic white. The white really pops, but if you prefer a more softer, vintagey kind of a feel to your cards, definitely go very vanilla. All right, so, and I need to use all these up as well because these colors will be leaving us at the end of April. That's what I wanted to also say, that if you don't have your re-inkers for the retiring in colors, the 2021-23 in colors, I suggest you get in sooner rather than later, and there's a good chance that they have already sold out. I know some of the cardstock is out of stock at the moment, so I think the Fresh Freesia is out of stock. And that's another thing too, if you're wanting to top up your supply of the in color 2021-23 in color cardstock, I suggest you get in sooner rather than later, because once it all announces, once the big clearance is announced, it will just go, and they won't be restocking. As far as I know, they won't be restocking. Okay. I've placed my gems a little bit differently too on this one because the spaces aren't the same. But there you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I would appreciate a thumbs up. Thank you again for your patience. If you are new to my channel and you would like to see more of what I do, please subscribe and hit that bell, because that will, well, in theory, it notifies you. I also put up a post in my Facebook page every time I go live, which is a bit of a struggle at the moment, but I will keep doing that, and I will add a post to there as well, telling everyone that this has happened. Okay, Paper Happenicity on Facebook with Monica Formosa. That's my business name. If you're new to Stampin' Up and would like to get in contact with me for either, I can send out a catalogue. We've got a new catalogue coming out, a new annual catalogue coming out beginning of May. So lots of lovely new products. And yeah, it's exciting at the moment. There's lots happening. There is also online exclusives that aren't in a catalogue, so I will put up a link for that as well. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a good day, have a great week, and hopefully I will see you next week, all being well. Bye. See you next time.